upscale places do to deliver high levels of customer service is to have general guidelines for their employees on how to act and how to deal with certain situations. You don't want them to be too specific, because that constrains them from delivering high customer service. But you need something, and right now we feel like that's lacking. And that can be addressed in two ways. The first way is to revise your procedures manual to incorporate some of these guidelines. And I'm assuming you're going to give them some recommendations based on, and you can leverage the fact that, okay, we have this Mercedes-Benz manual. We know what they do, right? We know that Mercedes-Benz likes to have you, once they have you as a customer, they want to keep you for life, and they want to give you that experience. You never want to go to another dealership again. We know that information, right? We looked at we talked to the people at the montage, and we're bringing that in, right? And then you can say also it has to come with training. So once a new front desk staff walks in the door, they need to understand what these guidelines are, and you, as the management team, need to be sure that they get a sense of what those guidelines are, and they're operating consistently with it. Right? You can't do one without the other. You need to think that needs to go hand in hand. But start with kind of why. Like, why is this even an issue? And give them, because that keeps them interested. It's like, okay, well, now I'm linking it back to this issue of 5-star customer service, which is what the Segans really wanted. Right? That was the whole premise for the project. So everything that you say, link it back to that. Like you did with the front desk, and you say, well, if they're changing the AC, they're not going to be there to greet those new parents that are walking through the door, right? And clearly, if you had to make that choice, they would probably say, well, we want them at that front desk. We want them to be there to say hello to those new parents coming in first day of school, right? We don't want them to be hanging out at the building at the far corner of the school and just fiddling with the AC. And so everything that you do, link it back to that, and then you've given them a reason to say, okay, now I'm interested in what you're saying, right? And why this is, I see why this is an issue, and now I'm interested in your solution.
Thank you. And now I'm going to hand it off to Josh, who's going to go over our recommendations.
So creating a formalized training would ensure the service provided by the front desk. This would be done through a checklist of formalized procedures. That way it's consistent training, so whoever's being trained or whoever the trainer is has guidelines for what they need to train the staff on. It's also measurable because you know if the staff has missed certain areas in the training because they haven't basically checked it off, they haven't gone over that section yet. This way you know that everybody at the front desk is trained up to a certain level. And also it would help with retraining. There's no retraining method as far as we found. And with retraining on new procedures, new policies, new ways of doing things at the desk, this will help keep that consistent service level. And also a procedures manual will help will help as a reference guide for employees. If there's ever a question of what they need to do in a situation, it helps them provide a consistent service. And that's what Heritage Oak is looking to do, is consistency with their service.
Have you given them in the report kind of an example of how they could revise the manual? Maybe one guideline, for example?
Yeah, we had actually found one today.
Okay, so make sure you add that here. So, well, we couldn't redo your whole manual, but we gave you a couple of guidelines for things that you could add based on the research that we did.
Okay.
Give you kind of a sense of what revisions to make.
In both procedures and training, you're hitting the consistency aspect of it. So whenever we talked about it earlier on in the problem area, talk about inconsistencies. That there's a lot of inconsistencies going on. We observed it. We saw it, so that it plays. This is going to, you connected them with that because you've hit that hard, and that's good. But you need to paint the picture that it's real inconsistent right now. One person does it this way, another person does it that way. They don't have anywhere to go to find out how to do it right. What the hope way to do it is, that kind of thing,
I got you. Okay. Now I'm going to pass it to Henry.
There's a question in the back.
Performance. Yes.
Prior to your final run through, make sure to look at the grammar on your slides because a procedures manual will, and then the second bullet is a reference for employees.
Okay.
And then will provide. So just maybe say procedures manual will provide job descriptions, reference for employees, and consistent service. So just make sure it all flows.
Appreciate it, yeah, thank you.
How many people were at this desk, this front desk?
3 people.
How many?
3.
Three, okay. Is there a supervisor there?
The principal in the back.
So there are 3 equals right there.
3 equals at the desk, yeah, essentially.
In this section, I will talk about the encumbrance of the performers. So one of the encumbrance on the performance the team found out is the performance evaluation. Currently, the business is doing performance evaluation survey annually, and having a survey annually is good, but having annually, it might not be effective because problem and concern could be pointed out by the parents. So the feedback will be get immediately. And also, just having a survey is not enough for the evaluation. There could be more.
So what's an evaluation done through survey?
Uh,
That's new to me. How do you do firm's evaluation through a survey?
Well, what they do is they actually send out a survey to the staff, or to the parents, rather, evaluating the staff at the desk,
Okay.
or the whole school, rather, and that's kind of what they base it on.
And they actually base, so the front desk staff, do their raises get based on this? Or what do they do with that information
Then
that
there's,
affects the employee?
It depends on, I think, the question, there's no exact question, it's saying like, how the front desk using, like, doing well. It's more
Well, no,
like-
how's the principal is the principal using the survey data from the parents to talk to front desk people or instructors or whatever and say,
Partially, if the parents like mention the front desk, there's, I don't think there's an exact question asking like, how did the front desk?
Well, what about teachers? What do they do with that if I taught there and some parents said some not so nice
I think if they
things
get like a
about it?
consistent amount of the same thing, then maybe they'll deal with something, but they might have like some random parent that has a grudge against that
Yeah.
teacher, so they're not gonna really do anything about it, so it just depends.
So there's really no, I mean,